But now that this is all on here, before I even start messing with the downpipe, I want to get the intake side on. So to do that, we're going to have to put these two guys together here. So this goes together sort of like this. And what I'll do here is actually have to go ahead and drill these holes out so we can get a bolt through and into these threaded holes here. So I'm going to go ahead, drill these out, and then be right back. Alright, so we have this together now. You see we have the bolts coming through the back, bolting this on. This is sealed with O-rings. When we go ahead and start welding this manifold, we'll take those O-rings out, of course, so we don't melt them in there. But we're going to bolt this on now. And we'll go right about there and then just get an idea of clearancing for all this stuff. Alright, now with this on, we could start doing some measurements. So first thing off the bat is we're going to have to cut here. So probably just going to start right around here, make that cut all the way down, and end it somewhere around here. So I'm going to do that first. That way I have space to work with here. Okay, so that gets us the room we need. Got a nice clean cut. I'll probably do the same thing to the other side here, right over here, so that way we get some nice uniformity. So I'll do the pretty similar cut right over here. But right now what we're trying to figure out is how to build this plenum. So we have pretty close proximity to the alternator down here, which I don't see being an issue. I'm pretty sure we can clear that, no problem. And then we need we have spacing issues here, so pretty sure this cut might have to go a little deeper. We'll see that later when I start building this plenum. My plan is to come out here, and then from here start reducing, come to a point somewhere around here, and then build that throttle body flange in this area. I have to put in the headlight and a few other things just to get the spacing right. But for right now, this is more than enough. I just really wanted an idea of the space I'd have so I could start designing what I'm going to do. Alright, so we have our intake pretty much mocked up. Well, pretty much fully mocked up. As well as the opening here for the throttle body flange. So right now, issues are kind of just working this out so that I could figure out this hose. But what I've done here is just, completely disregarding this for now. We need an intake to get the motor to run, of course. So I'm going to finish up the intake manifold and then figure out the radiator hose after that. I'm pretty sure we could find a solution for it. But as you can see, we have it all fully mocked up in cardboard, as well as all the measurements written down. So I'm going to start cutting this out of a sheet of aluminum I have there, and we'll get started. But let me take this off and I'll show you guys around the manifold really quickly. Alright, so here we go. We have the manifold in hand now. So first thing you'll see is this strip going all the way around. So that is going to be going around the bell mouth in here. Just first layer to separate ourselves from it. Give us enough ample space. From there on you'll see this angle we have here. So this is turning the manifold down, giving us some hood space, of course, because we'll need it. So going up here a bit, then flattening out to make sure we don't keep going up and hitting the hood. And then the rest of it stays pretty much flat. Then we have our ends here. So we're going to start cutting this out of aluminum first and weld it onto this flange and then go from there. I'm going to cut this off first though, and we'll move over. Alright, so we have the bottom piece of our intake all cleared out now, and we have that here. This is what we'll start welding onto there. Got to get this cleaned up, with acetone, a little bit of rubbing alcohol, make sure we have a clean welding surface. And then this here is the sheet we're going to be cutting this all out of. So we're going to start with that strip, which we have marked all along the bottom here. We'll cut that first and then move on from there. Okay, so we have our nice strip cut, and let's peel this protective PVC off. And then we have to take this, find the center point, which we'll mark, and then lay here and then wrap it around. So we're just going to wrap it around this entire spot here. That should reach the other side. So we're gonna, first thing we're doing is find a center spot, get a nice few tacks on here, and then move from there. Hey, what's going on, everyone? So this is a few days later than when whatever. Anyways, so it's a few days later. It's still same video. Got some more tools here, so you can see we have a bandsaw now and a little belt sander to help us out with what we're doing here, because we definitely needed the help tool-wise. So we got those two here helping us out. The bandsaw is going to be pretty much just for the intercooler piping. Oh, and also making the downpipe and dump tube. And then the bandsaw we're using for everything. Just to, you know, level things out, even out the cuts, and get rid of burrs and whatnot. So I've done some work on the intake manifold. Engine base still looks the same, but the manifold has more parts on. So we've done most of the welds. So you can see here, it's welded all the way around. And we added that second level to the plenum. So now you see this that we have here compared to the cardboard cutout we have. And I'll flip this around so you guys can see. But basically what we're working with here is just adding this piece now to the plenum. This one's upside down. There we go. So adding this piece and then the end plates, and then here goes the throttle body flange. So these end plates here I already have cut out. It's these guys right here. So those are going to be going right about here on that intake manifold. So the plenum won't be huge, but a pretty good size. And it'll clear everything in there, which is the most important part. So yeah, we're gonna finish this up. Welds are getting a lot better, as you can see. Haven't gotten to the edges on all of these because I didn't want to make any holes. So we'll finish up the rest of those welds later. But for the time being now, I'm gonna first of all put a hat on because this is weird, and second of all, get to cutting a few more pieces, get this stuff welded up, and finish up this intake manifold so we could start working with the downpipe and the rest of the intercooler piping after that. Alright, so another next day, but now we've got stuff done. Let me turn off this welder so you guys can actually hear me. Okay, so I'm back, and we have a completed intake manifold plenum. So, pretty solid overall. Some of these aren't my best welds, some of them are. But overall solid, no issues, no holes, nothing crazy. Had to do some patchwork in a few areas where, you know, after a while of heating this aluminum up, things don't tend to fit like they were supposed to because of all the warping. But the flange itself is completely flat because of how thick it is, which is awesome. And so is the throttle body flange. So we're all good there. Only warping happened when we were welding the plenum itself. So all good there. I'm gonna throw this on the arm, the runners, and then throw it on the car and test fit it. So hold on one sec and we'll put this in the car. Okay, and here we have our completed intake. So we have our cast OEM runners here, the plenum box we just made, throttle body flange here. This throttle body flange is for an R32 throttle body. That's what we're going to be using here. So let's just go ahead and get this onto the motor. Okay, so again, I will say it's been a few days later, but same video. We're done with the intake manifold. You guys kind of saw that. It's mounted in the car now, so that is what we're working with right now. Since then, I've been working on getting this throttle body in place to fit. As you can see, I'd had to weld some pie cuts into it because we had to make a pretty aggressive bend in the piping. And, you know, the mandrel bent piping I ordered was not going to do this for me. So, did some pie cuts, 9.5 degrees. And then that gave us enough to where we could put this throttle body in and it not hit anything. Clears the headlight spacing really well, and also the reservoir for the power steering fluid. So that's all in there. I'm gonna finish this up today, and today we're also finishing up this video. There's a few other things we're working on. Got some packages from Euro Tuning. It's, I believe it's the fuel rail. Going to be working on mounting the intercooler, so we got some aluminum angle. That's what we're going to be using to hang it. And working on a few other things. But I will show you guys all those things in an update. I won't show you that live because it's going to take forever. And it'll make for a really long video. But on that note, thank you all for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Really appreciate you guys spending the time to watch these videos and all the support I've been getting on YouTube and other social media platforms. If you want to keep up with more up-to-date stuff on the car, you can follow me on Instagram. I always put stuff on my stories there so you could, stay a little more up to date, see things before you see them on YouTube. But on that, I will leave you with that image of the intake manifold.